What's up, guys? M. Jones back in the house again for another video. And this video is the 2015 worst movies that I saw. And these are all movies that I didn't take from someone else's opinion. These are the movies that I pretty much saw and just completely thought they completely sucked. And I'm sure I'm going to get some flack for this. That's okay. Write in your comments. Say whatever you want to say. I want to know because I want you to prove me wrong because I just thought they were terrible. So in this top 10, we're going to go from 10 down to 1, 1 being the one I absolutely hated. And you might be really shocked about my number 1. I don't care. It's my opinion. But number 10 for me had to be the movie Knock Knock with Keanu Reeves. That movie, the reason why I wanted to see it because it was an Eli Roth film. Love Eli Roth. Think he's a really cool director / actor. Loved him in Inglourious Basterds. Some of the other movies he's done are pretty severe, like The Green Inferno, whatever. That movie, oh my god, that didn't make any list here for my year, but that was a freaky movie. But Knock Knock, I thought it was awful. Like, I only saw it because I love Keanu Reeves. I think he gets kind of the short end of the stick on things. I think he's actually a pretty cool cat. But I saw that movie strictly because of that guy, and I really wish I would never watch that movie. It was so stupid. I just hate everything about it. The two girls that kind of come into his home, they can't use their phone. They have no one to call. Can we just get warm? It's like, oh God, we've seen this how many times, and they're really just like twisted bitches. That's all it is. I thought it was an awful movie. Like I was like, please get over anytime you're ready. Did not like the movie whatsoever. That was my number 10. Do not see Knock Knock. God. If it knocks, don't answer. God. It was awful. Okay. My number 9. This is going to be The Walk. Now, you're probably thinking, The Walk? That was supposed to be so good. And I anticipated it to be great because it was about the Frenchman from the 70s, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who came over to America to walk from one tower to the next of the World Trade Center. And the movie had some really cool, I would say, cinematography for sure. Like seeing the Twin Towers again was awesome. You know, it's such a shame what happened in 9/11, 2001. But that was cool. But the whole movie is just about him tightrope walking. Like, it's like, all right. So like the next scene, what's the next scene going to be? You're going to maybe go for a walk somewhere that's not on a tightrope? Nope. It's talk about tightropes. It was just, the whole movie was constantly him talking about tightrope walking. And then he comes over to America. And let's more tightrope walk talk. Then he gets on the World Trade Center and he tightropes in an early morning, and it's like, great. Then the movie's over. Like, okay, like, super. So the whole movie was just talking about the same damn thing the whole time. I got bored. It was redundant. It was perseverated. I did not like it. I did not like this movie at all. I really think I put a little bit too much hope into this movie. That's my own fault. But the whole movie was just about the same thing. Each scene, everything was, he was just trying to just tightrope. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt had a horrible French accent. It just didn't work for me. And I think it being PG kind of hurt too. Like, I think PG movies are so unrealistic, you know, especially movies PG now. PG back in the day is really like PG-13 now, but PG now, it's just silly. it's not realistic. Like, it's just bullshit. And it's hard to believe some of the stuff in PG movies that aren't cartoons. So I don't know. It wasn't for me. I did not like it. Number 9, The Walk, did not like. Wasn't for me. All right, number 8. I'm probably going to get some flack for this. It just didn't do anything for me. And that was Straight Outta Compton. A lot of people love this movie. Rotten Tomatoes love this movie. IMDb love this movie. A lot of my friends love this movie. I wasn't really a big NWA guy. You know, when I was a little kid, I was more of like Tupac and Biggie and like Nas and, you know, like Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. Like, I mean, I know Dr. Dre was a part of this, but like, I just liked his more solo stuff. I didn't care for NWA. I mean, F the Police, that's it. Like, come on, man. Like, that does nothing for me. But the whole story of like how Ice Cube and Dr. Dre and, you know, Eazy-E, how they all met, that was interesting. I just got a little bit bored. I don't know. I like the movie Dope so much. Like in my last video, I talked about Dope. I like that way more than Straight Outta Compton. And again, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying it was a terrible movie. It didn't do anything for me. And the fact that it did nothing for me, I had to put it in this list. I thought Straight Outta Compton could have been a lot better. So that's my number 8, Straight Outta Compton. It was very predictable. You know, obviously it's predictable because it's retrospective. It happened. It's nonfiction. I just got bored with it. I just didn't do anything for me. So that's why I gave it that number. Number 7 is Avengers: Age of Ultron. I hated putting this in the list because I love the first Avengers, and I've already heard that the next Avengers is going to be awesome. This movie was kind of one that's just kind of going to parlay into the next. It's just going to be a little segue into the next movie. So it's kind of like Mockingjay Part 1. It's going to be great for Mockingjay Part 2, that kind of thing, that kind of comparison. I just didn't really like it. I thought it was kind of boring. I hated that James Spader, like, I love James Spader's voice, and I love James Spader as an actor, but I thought there could have been more. Like, I would have rather have seen him as, like, in real person rather than just what he was in the movie, and it was, like, kind of CGI'd. I just didn't really like that, and I just thought a lot of it was a real just, let's just blow the shit out of everything. Like, it wasn't very realistic. Like, I don't know. I mean, I know it's not realistic. Iron Man, there's no Iron Man that can fly. I get that. And there's no Incredible Hulk that just turns insanely nuts. I get that. It just didn't do anything for me. So simple as that. Number 7 for me was Avengers: Age of Ultron. I'm expecting great things for the third one. It just didn't do anything for me. So that's why I put it there. Okay. I believe that was 7, 8, 9, 10. That number 6. So number 6 for me was The Martian. Now, again, I know I'm going to hear shit for this. I'm not a Matt Damon fan, so that might be a biased opinion right off the bat. I'm not a Matt Damon fan. Does nothing for me. I liked him in Good Will Hunting. That's about it. It just does nothing for me. Very how he is in every movie, I just get annoyed with him. He just seems pompous asshole. That's what I think. I never met the man, so I could be wrong here, but I just feel like I just have a good hunch. But the whole movie was so predictable, and that's why I didn't like it. Like, you just know what's going to happen. Like, and I don't have to even ruin it or spoil it for you, but you just watch the trailer, you just know what's going to happen. So I just wasted 2.5 hours when I already knew what was going to happen from 2 minutes of a trailer. So I didn't like it for I think it was very contrived, and I definitely knew what was going to happen, and that's just it. Like, I didn't like it because it was so predictable, and when I made the prediction, I'm thinking to myself halfway through the movie, I'm making my prediction now. There's no way it's going to be this easy to predict, and it was that easy. So I just didn't like it. I wasn't enthralled. I wasn't entertained. I was just like, okay, well, he's on Mars, and that sucks. Like, hope he gets out. It was too easy not to like it. So that's where I get the number from. Okay, so number 5 for me. Number 6, that was The Martian. Number 5 for me was the movie Burnt. It was with Bradley Cooper. I read for months that this movie could be his first Oscar. Not going to happen. No, not going to happen. Burnt was so forced and pushed and pressed upon you that you just had to just feel sorry for the guy. He was an American that lived in France and opened up his own, like, restaurant that he always wanted to do, and he had a lot of trials and tribulations back in the day when he was younger, and it's just like, oh wow, he had a tough life. Cool. Like, it was just, I've seen it before. Like, nothing that did anything for me, and I think I had most expectations for this movie out of all movies, because I'm a big Bradley Cooper fan, and I want him to win a Best Actor, but it's not going to happen in this one, and I think they really said that he has a great chance to win this. For that movie, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen at all. It did terrible in the theaters, and I think it was in the theaters for maybe like 3 weeks, maybe 2 weeks. It didn't last long at all. So really disappointed in that movie. I thought it could have been a lot better, and that's why it's number 5 in the top 10 worst movies I've seen all year of 2015. But it did nothing for me. It really lacked. So that's what it is. My number 4 was the movie Dark Places. Now, I read the book by Gillian Flynn. I read the book. She wrote Gone Girl and Sharp Objects and, of course, Dark Places. Loved the book. The book was outstanding, Dark Places. And I was excited that Charlize Theron was going to play the protagonist in the movie. And, Chloe Grace Moretz was in it. I'm like, wow, there's a lot of big actors and actresses in this movie. And Nicholas Hoult, who was in... what was that called? With Hayden Panettiere. What was that called? No, not Hayden Panettiere. He played a zombie. I forget. And then he was also in Mad Max. I can't remember. what that other movie was called. It was awesome though. But anyway, I really thought it would be good. It was, it was horrible. It was just, let's make a paycheck and let's move the F on. That's what it was. I did not like Dark Places. Did nothing for me. That was limited release. I saw that in one of those independent film movie theaters, and it was like maybe me and like 3 other people, and we all walked out at the same time saying, well, it was nothing like the book, and the book was great, so the movie sucked. I did not like it. It was terrible. I saw Dark Places the other day at Best Buy. It was like $24.99. I said, no. Not going to happen. You're not coming home. I would not buy that movie. It was terrible. So that's my number 4, Dark Places. My number 3, again, I don't know if I'm going to get a lot of agreement on this. It did nothing for me. And that was Southpaw. I thought Jake Gyllenhaal transformed his acting and his body perfectly for this movie, to be a boxer that has horrible things happen to him in the past and present. And I just did nothing for me. I was bored. I was waiting for this movie to get over. And again, Forrest Whitaker was in this movie. He kind of played his. He kind of started as sort of like an adversary, then turned mentor, then turned friend, and he trained him and tried to help him. And Jake Gyllenhaal was such a mess mentally and spiritually, physically, emotionally, all that, because of things happened in the movie. And I didn't really care. I thought Jake Gyllenhaal was great in the movie, but everything else I did not like. I'm not a big Forrest Whitaker fan. I get really bored with his intensity. I don't know. Forrest Whitaker is not one of my favorites. I loved him in Last King of Scotland, but that's really it. Forrest Whitaker does nothing for me. So that might be the reason too. I just didn't really like the movie. Simple as that. I kept checking my phone. I was going to say watch, but who wears a watch now? I was checking my phone to see when this is over, and I just didn't. I didn't love it. I thought it was okay. I didn't love it. I thought it was okay. But I was so disappointed. That's why it's so high on this list. It's number 3. It should have been amazing. And this could have been a great chance for Jake Gyllenhaal to get an Oscar nod. So it didn't happen. It was kind of a failure. I think it was more of a bust. So that's my number 3, Southpaw. My number 2. I recently just watched this movie, and I am so grateful that I didn't have to pay for this movie. This was a free one for me. I didn't have to pay any money for. My number 2 was Steve Jobs. It was Michael Fassbender's version, not Ashton Kutcher. This was Michael Fassbender, who I think is a great actor. And it was also Seth Rogen played Steve Wozniak, his friend, foe kind of thing. And Kate Winslet was the only plus side in this movie. Kate Winslet was really good in this movie. But Michael Fassbender and Steve Wozniak, the whole movie was just a forced rush. The whole movie started out hostile, ended hostile. Everything was hostile. The whole movie was just like, well, we didn't put this Apple, this OS system out, Volume 2. Well, I did it. No, I did it. It was like two little kids fighting over, a baseball or a basketball. It's like, I just didn't like it. I hated it. I thought it was a terrible movie. And I know probably people think it was great. I didn't like it. I thought it was lousy. And I know Steve Jobs. I think Michael Fassbender would probably get an Oscar nod for his role as Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs. And it did nothing for me. I wanted it to do something for me. It really didn't. I was pretty much forcing myself to continue to watch this movie. Checked my phone many times. I'm like, this is boring. So I thought it was just because it was so rushed and so hostile. The whole movie was it was that awkward suspense, where it's suspenseful, you wonder what's going to happen, but the whole process is miserable. It's terrible. So I really, really did not like this movie. I thought it was terrible. Steve Jobs, no thanks. So that's my number 2. Now, my number 1, it got a huge score on Rotten Tomatoes. It got a 98 or 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know why. And if you look back in this past year of all my reviews, you'll probably guess what this one was. And a lot of my buddies would agree too. Mad Max Fury Road, I thought, was the worst movie I might have ever seen. It's not even just the worst movie of 2015. It's the worst movie from 0 to 2015 AD. I thought it was awful. I hated it. I'm a huge Tom Hardy guy. Love him. His character was weird. I didn't really understand it. And I've seen bits and pieces of the old Mel Gibson ones. It just still wasn't for me. And Charlize Theron, she just... Oh, God. It was such an awkward part in the movie where she's, on this big-ass sand dune. She's just, yelling. It's like, what are you doing? And a lot of it was, metaphors. A lot of the characters were, human metaphors. And it did nothing for me, and the speed of the movie was 1.5 speed, so it was like that when it's really supposed to be this normal speed, and it made me sick. My one buddy left the movie 40 minutes left to go. He's like, this movie sucks. I cannot watch this. I'm getting a headache. And my one buddy fell asleep. It was so stupid. I hated Mad Max Fury Road. I don't know what people see in it. A lot of my friends on YouTube even are like, dude, I can't believe you didn't like it. I'm like, dude, we must have saw 2 different movies because I thought it was the worst movie I probably might have ever seen. So that's a lot to say there, but I really hated it. If someone said, I'm either going to punch you in the face Or you get to watch Mad Max Fury Road. I'm like, hit me in the face twice. Make it 4 times. Make it 8 times. I don't care. Break every bone in my face, please. I hated it. That was just a terrible movie. So that's my 2015 worst movies that I saw list. I hope you both enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed both the best of 2015 and also the worst of 2015. Please leave your comments. Please leave whatever you want to here. If you disagree with me, tell me why you disagree with me. If you want to throw your top 10 list, please do. Your best top 10, put it on the best video. Your worst top 10, put it on this video. Please. I'd love to know what you think. But as I said before, Happy New Year, and you take it easy, and bye.